The text came through at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. I was in my home office reviewing investment portfolios when my phone buzzed with a message from my older brother Tyler. "Claire, we need to talk about Dad's 70th birthday party this Saturday. I'm going to be direct. Don't come. We're trying to make this special for Dad, and honestly, we can't have someone broke like you ruining the family photos. You show up in those discount clothes driving that ancient car and it reflects poorly on all of us. I know this sounds harsh, but you understand, right? It's better for everyone if you sit this one out." I stared at the message for a long moment, reading it 3 times to make sure I understood correctly. My brother, who lived in the house I'd been secretly paying the mortgage on for 4 years, was uninviting me from our father's birthday because I looked too poor. I typed back a single word, "Okay." His response was immediate. "Thanks for understanding. We'll do something small with you another time. Just family." Just family. As if I wasn't family. As if the sister who'd been quietly keeping their entire household afloat for 4 years wasn't worth including in a birthday celebration. I set my phone down and pulled up my banking app, navigating to the automatic payment section. There it was, the standing monthly transfer of $12,000 to First National Bank, account number ending in 7743. My parents' mortgage payment, which I'd been covering since they hit financial trouble 4 years ago. They didn't know it was me. The payments came through a trust I'd set up, and the bank had been instructed to tell them only that an anonymous benefactor was handling their mortgage if they asked. They never asked. They just accepted the mysterious help and moved on with their lives. I clicked Cancel Recurring Payment. A confirmation dialog appeared. "Are you sure you want to cancel this scheduled payment? This action cannot be undone." I clicked Confirm. The payment scheduled for the 1st of next month, 3 days from now, disappeared from the calendar. Then I opened my email and composed a message to my attorney, Robert Chin. "Robert, please draft a letter to First National Bank informing them that the trust payments for the Morrison family mortgage, account #XXXX 7743, are permanently discontinued as of today. The family should be notified that they are now responsible for all future payments. Ensure this is handled before their next payment is due on the 1st. I hit send and leaned back in my chair. My phone buzzed again. "Tyler. Also, can you chip in $200 for Dad's gift? We're getting him that golf club set he wanted. Everyone's contributing." I didn't respond. My name is Claire Morrison and I'm 33 years old. For the past 10 years I've been building a wealth management firm from the ground up. Morrison Financial Advisors now manages $890 million in assets for high net worth clients. My personal net worth is approximately $47 million. My family thinks I'm barely surviving. They think this because I've deliberately let them think it. I drive a 12-year-old Subaru to family events. I wear simple, inexpensive clothes when I see them. I live in what they believe is a tiny apartment, but is actually a $3.2 million penthouse I own outright. They've just never been invited to see it. I started hiding my success about 8 years ago when I made my first million. I'd mentioned it casually at a family dinner thinking they'd be proud. Instead, my brother rolled his eyes and said, "Sure, Claire. We all believe you're a millionaire." My mother laughed and patted my hand. "It's sweet that you're optimistic about your little business." After that, I stopped correcting their assumptions. 4 years ago my parents hit financial trouble. My father's small business collapsed during the pandemic, and they burned through their savings trying to keep it afloat. They were 3 months behind on their mortgage when the foreclosure notices started arriving. I found out by accident, saw a letter on their kitchen counter during a family dinner. They were panicking, trying to figure out how to come up with $36,000 to get current on payments plus the monthly $12,000 going forward. I set up a trust the next day. Anonymous payments routed through my attorney, with instructions that my parents were never to know where the money came from. I paid off their back payments and covered their mortgage every month since then. 48 months. $576,000 in total payments. And they never once wondered where the help was coming from. Never questioned it. Never thanked the mysterious benefactor. They just accepted it as good fortune and moved on. Meanwhile, at family dinners, Tyler would make jokes about my struggling consultant business. My mother would suggest I get a real job with benefits. My father would sigh sadly and say things like, "Not everyone can be successful, Claire. At least you're trying." The irony was so thick I could choke on it. But I kept quiet. Kept paying their mortgage. Kept showing up in my modest car and discount clothes. Kept being the family disappointment who was secretly keeping the entire family from financial ruin. Until today. Until my brother decided I was too poor to be in family photos. The next morning, Wednesday, I went to my office downtown. The corner office on the 30th floor of the Riverside Tower, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. My assistant, Maya, brought me coffee and my schedule for the day. You have the Westfield meeting at 10, lunch with the Chin Group at noon, and the portfolio review at 3, she said. Oh, and your brother called the office line this morning. He said something about needing to talk to you about a family matter. If he calls again, tell him I'm unavailable. Maya raised an eyebrow but nodded. She'd worked for me long enough to know when not to ask questions. At 4:47 p.m. on Thursday, the day before my father's birthday party, my phone rang. It was my father's number. I let it go to voicemail. He called again immediately. Then again. Then my mother called. Then Tyler. I was in a meeting with a client, discussing a $12 million investment strategy. I silenced my phone and continued working. At 6:15 p.m. after my meeting ended, I finally listened to the voicemails. The first one was from my father, his voice tight with panic. Claire, we need to talk. Call me back immediately. It's urgent. The second was from my mother, crying, Claire, please, we need your help. Something terrible has happened with the house. Call us back, sweetheart. The third was from Tyler. Claire, where the hell are you? Mom and Dad are freaking out about the mortgage. The bank called them today saying their payments stopped and they're going into foreclosure unless they pay $36,000 immediately plus get current on next month's payment. Do you know anything about this? Call me back. I deleted all 3 messages and went home. At 7:30 p.m. my father called again. This time I answered. Claire. His voice was so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. Where have you been? We've been trying to reach you all day. I was working, Dad. What's going on? What's going on? The bank called us this afternoon. They said the payments on our mortgage have stopped. That whoever was paying them has discontinued the arrangement. We're going into foreclosure unless we can come up with $36,000 by next week to cover the missed payments. That's terrible, I said calmly. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? We don't have that kind of money. We've been relying on those payments for 4 years. We don't know who was even making them. The bank said it was some kind of trust, but they won't tell us who set it up. Sounds like you're in a tough spot. There was a pause. Claire, why are you being so calm about this? We're losing our house. Dad, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm not sure what you want me to do about it. I'm just a struggling consultant, remember? I can barely afford my own rent. Another pause, longer this time. What? That's what you all think, right? That I'm broke? That I'm barely surviving with my little business? So obviously I can't help with a $36,000 problem. Claire. Actually, Dad, I'm curious. You've been getting mysterious mortgage payments for 4 years and never once asked where they were coming from. Never tried to find out who your benefactor was. Never expressed gratitude or concern. You just took the money and went on with your lives. Did you think it was some kind of magic? We assumed it was. We didn't know. The bank said it was anonymous. It was anonymous because I made it anonymous. I'm the one who's been paying your mortgage for 4 years, Dad. $12,000 a month, every month for 48 months. I've paid $576,000 to keep you in your house. The silence on the other end was absolute. That's not possible, he finally said. You don't have that kind of money. I have significantly more than that. I own a wealth management firm that manages $890 million in client assets. My personal net worth is about $47 million. I've been paying your mortgage out of my quarterly earnings like it's pocket change. You're lying. I'm not. But you're welcome to keep believing I'm broke if it makes you feel better. Either way, I've stopped the payments. You're on your own now. Why? His voice cracked. Why would you do this to us? I'll let you figure that out, Dad. Enjoy your birthday party tomorrow. I hear it's going to be quite the event. I hung up. My phone immediately started ringing again. I turned it off completely. Friday morning, the day of the party, I woke up to 43 missed calls and 127 text messages. I scrolled through them while drinking my coffee. Tyler, call me right now. Mom and Dad are having a breakdown. Mom, Claire, please, we need to talk. This can't be real. Please tell me this isn't real. Dad, I don't understand. Why wouldn't you tell us? Why would you hide this? Tyler again. I don't know what Dad was talking about last night, but he says you've been paying their mortgage? That's insane. Stop playing games and call me back. More from Mom. Your father couldn't sleep all night. He's been crying. Please just talk to us. I set my phone down and got ready for my day. I had a lunch meeting with a potential client, then a board meeting for one of my investment properties. At 2:30 p.m. someone knocked on my office door. Maya opened it, looking uncomfortable. Your brother is here. He says he's not leaving until he talks to you. I sighed. Send him in. Tyler walked into my office and stopped dead, staring. He'd never seen my office before. I'd never invited him. The expensive furnishings, the original artwork on the walls, the view of the city, the sheer size of the space. What the hell is this? He said. This is my office. Where I work. This is a corner office. Top floor. This must cost. I own the building, Tyler. Or rather, my investment company owns it. I don't pay rent. He looked at me like I'd grown a second head. You own this building? This building and 6 others. Sit down if you want to talk. He sat, still looking around in disbelief. Dad said you've been paying their mortgage. That's not true, right? He's confused or having some kind of breakdown. It's true. I've paid $12,000 a month for the past 4 years. That's $576,000 total. That's impossible. You're a consultant. You work from home. You drive a Subaru. I'm a wealth management consultant whose firm manages nearly $900 million in assets. I work from home sometimes because I own my company. And I drive a Subaru to family events because it's easier than explaining why I have a Porsche and a Range Rover. Tyler's face was cycling through emotions too fast to track. This is insane. You're making this up. I turned my computer monitor so he could see it. This is my primary investment account. Current balance, $31.7 million. This is my business account, $8.4 million. This is my real estate holdings portfolio. Estimated value $43 million. Do you want me to keep going? He stared at the screen, mouth hanging open. For 10 years, I said quietly, I've been building a successful business. For 4 years I've been keeping Mom and Dad's house from foreclosure. And for all that time, you and everyone else in the family have treated me like I'm the poor relation who can barely keep her head above water. We didn't know. You didn't ask. There's a difference. I pulled up an email on my screen. 2 days ago, you sent me a text uninviting me from Dad's birthday party. Do you want to see it? I can show you. His face went red. I was trying to protect Dad. You were trying to protect your image. You were embarrassed by me. By my old car and simple clothes. You thought I'd make the family look bad in photos. Claire. So I stopped the mortgage payments. Why would I keep financially supporting a family that's ashamed of me? We're not ashamed. Tyler, you literally told me not to come to Dad's birthday because I'm too broke to be in family photos. That's the definition of being ashamed. He was quiet for a moment. What do they do now? About the mortgage. They figure it out themselves. Get a loan, sell the house, downsize to something they can afford. That's what adults do when they can't pay their bills. They'll lose the house. Probably. But that's not my problem anymore. Yes, it is. There are parents. They're your parents who think I'm a failure. Why would a failure be able to help with a $36,000 problem? I stood up. I have a meeting, Tyler. You need to leave. The party is tonight. At 6. At the house. He stood too, looking desperate. Are you coming? I wasn't invited. Remember. I'm inviting you now. Too late. Claire, please. Dad is devastated. Mom has been crying for 2 days straight. They didn't know it was you paying the mortgage. They thought. They didn't know. They could have asked. They could have tried to figure out who was helping them. They could have, at any point in 4 years, wondered about the mysterious payments keeping them afloat. But they didn't because they were too busy feeling sorry for their poor daughter Claire who couldn't get her life together. Tyler opened his mouth, then closed it again. He had no argument. Go to your party, Tyler. Celebrate Dad's birthday. Take nice photos without the broke sister ruining them. I'll be fine. He left without another word. At 5:47 p.m. my mother called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Claire. Her voice was wrecked from crying. Please. Please come to the party. We need to talk to you. We need to explain. Explain what, Mom? We didn't know. We truly didn't know it was you. If we had known. If you had known what? You would have treated me differently? That's exactly the problem. Your respect for me shouldn't depend on how much money I have. It doesn't. We love you. You love the idea of me. You don't love the actual me because you've never bothered to get to know the actual me. You decided years ago that I was struggling, and you never updated that opinion even when reality suggested otherwise. That's not fair. Isn't it? When's the last time you asked about my work, Mom? Actually asked, not just made polite conversation before changing the subject. Silence. When's the last time you visited my home? Oh wait. You've never visited my home because you think it's some depressing studio apartment and you don't want to see how your daughter lives in poverty. Claire. I live in a penthouse worth $3.2 million. I bought it 4 years ago with cash. You've never seen it because I never invited you because I knew you'd just make assumptions about how I could afford it. You'd think I was in debt or had gotten lucky or something. You'd never believe I earned it. My mother was crying openly now. I wanted you to be proud of me for who I am, not what I have. I said, my voice softer. But you were only ever going to be proud of success you could see and understand. So I stopped trying to show you. We can fix this, she said desperately. We can start over. We can get to know you, the real you. Maybe. Eventually. But not tonight. Tonight you're going to have your party without me just like Tyler wanted. And you're going to think about why your daughter felt the need to hide her entire life from you. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything, Mom. I'm just stopping doing something I should never have started. You're not my responsibility. Your mortgage isn't my obligation. I paid it for 4 years out of love and you repaid that by being ashamed of me. So now we're even. We're not ashamed of you. Tyler uninvited me from Dad's party because my appearance would ruin the family photos. If that's not shame, what is it? She had no answer. Enjoy the party, Mom. Happy birthday to Dad. I hung up. At 6:15 p.m., I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my penthouse balcony, watching the sun set over the city. My phone kept ringing. Different family members, probably all at the party, all trying to reach me. I didn't answer. Around 8:30 p.m. Maya texted me, "Your father just showed up at the office building. Security stopped him in the lobby. He's demanding to see you." What should I tell them? I typed back, "Tell them to ask him to leave. If he refuses, call the police for trespassing." Are you sure? I'm sure. 10 minutes later Maya texted again. He left. He was crying. Claire, what's going on? Family drama. Thanks for handling it. I turned off my phone and spent the rest of the evening reading a book I'd been meaning to get to for months. It was peaceful, actually. No family obligations. No pretending to be someone I wasn't. Just silence and wine and a good book. The next morning I turned my phone back on to find 209 missed calls and 487 text messages. Most were from family members begging me to reconsider, to come talk to them, to help them understand. A few were angry. Tyler sent a long message about family loyalty and how I was being selfish. But one message stood out. From my father, sent at 11:47 p.m. Claire, I sat in my house tonight. The house you saved, surrounded by family celebrating my birthday, and all I could think about was how wrong I've been. Your mother showed me Tyler's text uninviting you from the party. I didn't know he'd done that. When I confronted him, he said he was protecting the family image. Protecting us from being associated with your poverty. I've spent the last 24 hours reviewing my bank statements, looking at 4 years of mysterious mortgage payments that kept us from losing everything. $576,000 that came from nowhere, from a daughter we thought was barely surviving. I don't understand how we missed this. How we could be so blind. Your mother and I spent tonight talking, really talking about you. About how we've treated you. About all the times we dismissed your career, suggested you get a real job, made jokes about your struggling business. About how we never visited your home or asked serious questions about your life. We assumed we knew and we stopped looking. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking you to reinstate the mortgage payments. I'm just asking for a chance to know you. The real you. The daughter who built a successful company and kept her parents' house from foreclosure without ever asking for credit. The woman I should have been proud of all along but was too blind to see. If you're willing, I'd like to take you to lunch. Just you and me. No agenda except listening. I want to hear about your business, your life, your home I've never seen. I want to know my daughter. I love you. I'm sorry it took losing your help to make me realize how much I've failed you as a father. I read the message 3 times then set my phone down. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. Over the next week, my parents tried everything to reach me. Letters, emails, showing up at my office building, security turned them away. Finally, my mother sent a handwritten note delivered by courier. Claire, we've put the house on the market. We can't afford the mortgage without your help and we won't ask you to resume payments. We're downsizing to something we can manage on our own. The realtor says we should get enough to pay off the mortgage and have a little left over for a smaller place. We don't blame you for this. We blame ourselves for taking your help for granted, for never questioning where it came from, for being comfortable with mystery money while treating you like a charity case. Your father wants to have lunch with you. No pressure, no expectations. Just a father trying to get to know his daughter. Will you give him that chance? I thought about it for 3 days. Finally, I called my father's cell phone. He answered on the first ring. Claire. Hi, Dad. I got Mom's note. Lunch sounds okay. Tuesday at noon. I'll send you the address. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dad, I need you to understand something before we meet. Anything. This doesn't fix things. Having lunch doesn't erase 4 years of you thinking I was a failure while I kept your house from foreclosure. It doesn't make up for Tyler uninviting me from your birthday because I'd ruin the photos. This is just lunch. I understand. And if you show up expecting me to give you money or resume the mortgage payments, I'll walk out. This is about relationship, not resources. I know. I swear, Claire, I just want to know you. Hey. Tuesday at noon. I sent him the address of an upscale restaurant downtown, the kind of place where lunch for 2 costs $300. I wanted him to see a glimpse of the life I actually lived. He arrived 10 minutes early, looking nervous in a suit that was slightly too tight. I arrived exactly on time, dressed in a designer outfit that cost more than his car payment. His eyes widened when he saw me. Claire, you look. This is how I actually dress, Dad. The discount clothes were for family events. We sat down. He was quiet for a long moment, just looking around at the expensive restaurant, the wealthy clientele, the way the staff treated me like a regular. You come here often? He finally asked. Once or twice a month. I have business lunches here. It must be expensive. It is. I can afford it. He nodded slowly. I'm starting to realize how little I know about your life. Yes. The waiter brought menus. My father's eyes bulged at the prices. Entrees starting at $65. I ordered without looking at the cost. He ordered the cheapest thing on the menu. Dad, order what you actually want. I'm paying. I couldn't. I make more in a week than this meal costs. Order the steak if you want the steak. He did. Over lunch, I told him about my business. How I'd started with 3 clients and a laptop in a coffee shop. How I'd grown steadily, building a reputation for excellent returns and trustworthy advice. How I'd expanded into wealth management, real estate investment, and strategic financial planning. How my firm now employed 18 people and managed portfolios for over 100 high-net-worth clients. He listened without interrupting. Really listened. When did you start making serious money? He asked. I made my first $1 million in revenue about 7 years ago. Net worth crossed $1 million about 6 years ago. By the time I started paying your mortgage 4 years ago, I was worth about $8 million. Jesus, Claire. Now I'm worth about $47 million depending on market fluctuations. He set down his fork. And we thought you were broke. You thought I was broke because I let you think it. After Tyler made fun of me for mentioning I'd made my first $1 million, I stopped correcting your assumptions. It was easier than constantly defending my success to people who'd decided I was failing. Why did you pay our mortgage? Because you're my parents. Because you needed help. Because I had the money and you didn't. I met his eyes. And maybe because some small part of me hoped you'd eventually figure it out and be proud of me. We should have been proud of you regardless. Yes. You should have. He was quiet for a while, pushing food around his plate. Tyler told me what he texted you. About not coming to the party. I'm sure he did. He says he was trying to protect me. That he thought having you there in your old car and simple clothes would make us look bad to the extended family. And what do you think about that? I think he was being a snob and an asshole. I think he learned that attitude from me. Dad's voice cracked. I taught him to value appearances over substance. I taught him that success looks a certain way and anything else is failure. That's on me. Yes, it is. Can we fix this? Not the money, I know that's done. But us. Can we fix our relationship? I thought carefully about my answer. Maybe. If you're willing to actually know me instead of assuming you know me. If you can respect me as a successful businesswoman instead of treating me like the struggling daughter who needs help. If you can acknowledge that your assumptions about me were wrong and be genuinely curious about who I actually am. I can do that. I want to do that. Then we start here. Lunch once a month. You ask real questions about my life and business. I answer honestly. We build something real instead of the pretend relationship we've had. What about the mortgage? The house? That's your problem to solve, Dad. I'm not resuming payments. You can sell the house, downsize, figure it out. But I'm not your financial safety net anymore. He nodded. That's fair. More than fair. We finished lunch. I paid the bill, $3.40 including tip, without blinking. My father watched me sign the receipt and shake his head. I've been such a fool. Yes. But you're willing to change. That counts for something. Over the next 6 months, my relationship with my parents slowly rebuilt. We had lunch once a month. My father asked genuine questions about my work and seemed fascinated by my answers. My mother came to my penthouse for the first time and cried when she saw how I actually lived. Tyler took longer. He was embarrassed and defensive, unable to reconcile the broke sister he'd pitted with the multimillionaire sister who'd been supporting his parents. We weren't close, but we were civil. The house sold. My parents downsized to a modest condo they could afford on their own. My father went back to work part-time doing consulting. They were managing. At Christmas, 11 months after the birthday party incident, my father pulled me aside. I have something for you. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $5,000 and a handwritten note. This is 1% of what we owe you. We'll pay you back the full $576,000 if it takes us the rest of our lives. Not because you need the money, but because we need to acknowledge the debt. Thank you for saving our house. Thank you for giving us a chance to know the real you. We're proud of you, Claire. We should have said that years ago. Love, Dad. I looked at the check, then at my father. You don't have to do this. Yes, we do. Not for you, for us. We need to make this right. I hugged him, the first real hug we'd shared in years. Keep the check, I said. Donate it to a charity. Volunteer somewhere. Do something good with it. That's worth more to me than the money. Are you sure? I'm sure. That night I returned to my penthouse and thought about the journey. From the text message uninviting me from a birthday party to slowly rebuilding a relationship with my family based on honesty instead of assumptions. It hadn't been easy. It had been painful and messy and required both of us to confront uncomfortable truths. But it had been necessary. Because here's what I learned. You can't force people to see you. You can only remove yourself from situations where you're not valued and wait to see if they miss you enough to look closer. My family missed me. And when they finally looked closer, they found someone completely different than who they'd imagined. I was Claire Morrison. I owned a $890 million wealth management firm. I was worth $47 million. I'd paid my parents' mortgage for 4 years without asking for credit or gratitude. And I'd walked away from all of it the moment my brother decided I was too poor to be in family photos. Because my dignity was worth more than their mortgage. My self-respect was worth more than their approval. My truth was worth more than their comfortable lies about who I was. They tried to exclude me for being broke. Instead, they discovered I was the one keeping them afloat. And in that discovery we found something more valuable than money. Honesty. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't fixed. But it was real. And real, I'd learned, was worth everything.